Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how I make my mushroom and onion gravy and mashed potatoes. So first thing I'm going to start with is cutting the onion. Now I'm not dicing this onion, I'm doing the thinnest little slices here because that's how I like them in my gravy. Alright, so you're like, that's a lot of onions. It's going to cook down to very little in comparison. I'm just going to do 2 cloves of garlic here. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to go ahead and mix that with the onion. I'm going to just slice the mushrooms like this into pretty, very thin slices. If this is too much for you, you can just quarter them. You can do whatever. If you want to get real crazy, throw it in the food processor, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you guys what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna use, just for today, 5 gold Yukon potatoes. I'm gonna leave the skin on these. You can use whatever potato you like. You can choose to peel it. You don't have to peel it, it's up to you. So I'm gonna wash these really well and then we're gonna cut them into cubes and I'll show you that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is you wanna make sure you have a sharp knife, of course. The sizes on these don't have to be super specific because you're just gonna mash them anyway. But you do want them to all be of similar size so that they cook evenly. And they can be kind of small because we're just gonna boil these until they're really soft anyway. Okay, so you're just gonna cover the potatoes in water. Now, I'm not gonna rinse off this starchy liquid because we actually want that to help thicken these potatoes. So something I like to add now when I'm boiling these is either the Better Than Bullion chicken base or just the seasoned vegetable one. Either one is totally fine. You can eliminate this totally. It's not necessary, but I really do like how much flavor it adds. So I'm gonna just use about a teaspoon and get that off in there. And then once the water heats up a little bit, it'll kind of mix in better. So I'm going to boil these until they are fork tender. So that should be about 15 minutes. Okay, so once my pan is hot, I'm going to add just a bit of water. And we're gonna add in the onions, the garlic, and the mushrooms all at once. And you're like, what? All at once? That's crazy. Supposed to saute the onion and garlic first. Nah. It'd be alright. I'm gonna still add a little bit of poultry seasoning just because I like the flavor that it gives. You can totally eliminate this. You can add some sage if you like. I'm just gonna use a little bit of the poultry just because I really like it in this. I like that really rich kind of umami flavor that we're gonna get here. And again, you're gonna cook this down until this is pretty much a dry pan. Okay, so now that my mushrooms and onions are cooked, the pan is almost dry. You can see there's just a little bit of liquid, not hardly any left at all. You're gonna take a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and if the camera is fogging up, it is because I'm cooking right over it. You're gonna take a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and you are going to take your spatula and you are going to mix it into the mushrooms really well. Now, you don't want this to become too much of like a paste with the flour and water, is why you want it dry. You really just want it to coat the mushrooms. Now, you're gonna get your whisk ready. Even though there's chunks of mushrooms, it will still be helpful. So I'm gonna start with just a little bit of water. Kind of start working on the bottom here. And you're gonna work the mushrooms with the flour into the water, and it's gonna start to thicken. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is now I'm gonna pour in the soy milk, and you're like, wow, that's really thin. It's gonna thicken real quick, honey. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and let this cook, whisking it until it becomes really nice and thick. So I'm gonna show you how we're gonna make the mashed potatoes. I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of soy milk. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and start mashing. So I'm gonna go in with just a bit of, I'm gonna go with a little bit of garlic powder, not too much, just a little bit. I'm gonna go in with plenty of black pepper, because that's how we like ours. Now I made yesterday this cashew sour cream, really nice and thick. I'm gonna put about 1/4 cup in here. You can omit this if you want to reduce the fat in it, but being from the South, we usually put mayo in ours, or sour cream. So I'm gonna just do that, you know, for the sake of nostalgia. This is our super creamy, thick gravy. You just wanna cook it until it's the consistency you like. I like mine really thick, so that's how I've decided to do it. So I make a well in the center of my mashed potatoes. Then we're just gonna take this luxurious mushroom gravy and fill that well. And for weight loss, don't forget to always do a 50-50 plate. So I've got my mashed potatoes with mushroom gravy, and then we're gonna have just a little salad on the side. I hope you guys like this. If you give it a try, don't forget to tag me on Instagram.